A warm welcome to everyone in the audience to the YieldLab Asia Pacific Global Aquaculture Challenge 2021 finale. My name is Sophie Go, Global Aquaculture Program Director at the YieldLab Asia Pacific, and I will be your MC today. The past few months of Accelerator Program and mentoring with our 8 finalists has been a very exciting journey. We're extremely proud of what they have achieved and thrilled to give them the opportunity today to present their innovations. This is how the next hour and a half will unfold. I will first introduce you to Claire Pribula, Managing Director and co-founder of the YieldLab Asia Pacific AgTech Fund. Claire will describe the genesis of this program and introduce the YieldLab Federation of Funds. Then you will hear from our 8 cohort companies as they will pitch live, followed by a Q&A, handled by a panel of strategic advisors. The cohort will compete for regional prizes and a grand prize that will be awarded today. To summarize the prizes, they include the following: the Salmon Sustainability Prize for Transformation with an assessed value of $50,000, the Aqua Bridge Middle East and North Africa Region Prize for Innovation with an assessed value of $50,000, the Singapore Enterprise Singapore and Startup SP Founder Grant of 30,000 Singapore dollars, which is woven into the cash grand prize. The finale will culminate with the announcement of the winner of the YieldLab Asia Pacific Global Aquaculture Challenge 2021 Grand Prize cash award of $120,000. In addition, the winner will receive bespoke consulting and services provided by IBM, IBM Research Aquaculture, and IBM Environmental Services. This grand prize winner will also get the opportunity to present in the Technology Showcase at the Animal AgTech Innovation Summit, taking place on the 19th and 20th of October. Also, the grand prize winner will be fast-tracked to Enterprise Singapore Top 100 finalists of Slingshot 2021 on the 12th of November. Beside these prizes, all 8 finalists have already access to IBM Aqua Tech Support Service worth up to $180,000 per company, the Global Seafood Alliance Go Conference and Membership, and the Animal AgTech Innovation Summit Conference. On behalf of the Global Aquaculture Challenge team, I would like to thank our sponsors that made possible access to prizes in excess of $1.6 million. After the cohort live pitch and Q&A and before the winner's announcement, I will welcome Larry Taylor, co-founder of the YieldLab Asia Pacific and board member of the YieldLab Institute, our nonprofit arm, to share a retrospective of the past few months of mentoring and programming. Then Jim Sutter, the CEO of the U.S. Soybean Export Council, USSEC, lead sponsor of the Global Aquaculture Challenge 2021, will share how USSEC is supporting the aquaculture industry. Now, without further ado, I welcome Claire Pribula, Managing Director and co-founder of the YieldLab Asia Pacific Fund, on the stage.
Thank you, Sophie, and welcome to the YieldLab Asia Pacific Global Aquaculture Challenge. As Sophie mentioned, my name is Claire Pribula. I'm co-founder with Larry Taylor and the managing director of the YieldLab Asia Pacific. First, a little bit about the YieldLab Asia Pacific Fund. We're the latest in the global federation of the YieldLab funds, focusing on advancing late and early stage ag tech investment seed and Series A across all of agriculture, plant science, precision ag, animal health, includes aquaculture, sustainability, traceability, food ingredients. With the YieldLab funds on every continent, North America, Europe, Latin America, Asia Pacific, and looking to Africa, Within 5 years, we've made 60 ag tech investments with a portfolio that has achieved over 30 times in follow-on investment, equating to $480 million and creating over 1,300 jobs and addressing 12 of the 17 UN SDG goals. And the most important fact is that all of our portfolio companies are thriving. Agriculture, including aquaculture, is one of the oldest industries. After 12,000 years, it's finally getting the attention it deserves. And now, the great digitization of this last trillion-dollar industry to be transformed is finally underway, and we're happy to play a role. The Yield Lab Asia Pacific and the Yield Lab was created out of necessity in 2015. And from this chart, you can see why. When we launched our first Ag Tech Fund in North America in 2015, it became quite apparent that we needed to create a new model for accelerating early Ag Tech innovation, as there was not much deal flow. And even now, Ag Tech makes up a small portion of the VC deals at $4 billion for Ag Tech investments for the full year of 2020, which is still just a fraction of the $300 billion invested globally across all sectors. If you view it a different way and you look at venture capital in just the US, in the first quarter of 2021, there were only 380 ag tech investments, with aquaculture making up just a small, tiny fraction of those 300 deals, which, although it's a great increase from just over 30 investments in 2015, it's still rather small in contrast to the internet industry with over 25,000 deals in that very same quarter. It is obvious to meet the challenges of a rapidly growing population plus a rapidly changing climate and all the residual effects, more must be done to draw out and advance impactful innovation in aquaculture to increase safe, sustainable, and affordable access to this fast-growing, highly nutritious protein. Everything in agriculture and aquaculture is tied to a growing season. And all those sectors within ag that I mentioned earlier are all interconnected. So we came up with a new model, which provides a bigger investment, with us remaining involved over a much longer period of time, providing bespoke, relevant subject matter experts out of the industry who really do understand the importance of the innovation, and then help these companies get through to commercialization. But this is not easy work. If we're going to truly transform this industry through science and expertise, we're going to have to find new ways to create innovative efficiencies. And this means collaboration with cross-industry technologies and applications, and investments focused on financial and social and environmental outcomes, and producers developing new and innovative techniques. There is just no easy button. If you don't advance the early stage of these companies, we're never going to make it. If these companies are going to survive, it's important to have access to relevant subject matter experts that understand the pain points that exist regionally and globally, and can provide access through their hard-earned 20 to 30-year relationships, and thus close the gap with the strategic companies and R&D, which are more than likely to invest or acquire these innovations. Most companies in ag tech and the aqua space will not go public, but they'll be acquired. So the faster you can close that gap, the better. In the Yield Lab Asia Pacific's case, via our vast global network and funds, we can pull these innovations together globally into their highest potential addressable market as fast as possible. In this way, it's good for the company's survivability and valuation, it's good for the investors, and it's even better towards our ability to provide affordable, nutritious food for all. We created our nonprofit, the Yield Lab Institute, to work in tandem with our regional funds to identify areas across agriculture that need more focus and attention from innovators. And this is the reason the Yield Lab Asia Pacific created the Global Aquaculture Challenge. Aquaculture is very important in Asia, providing 90% of the global aquaculture industry on a volume basis. Fish and shellfish can feed far more efficiently than land-based animals. And with 10 billion people, by 2050, aquaculture desperately needs technology and data-driven solutions to improve farming systems, animal health, their impact on the environment, while improving production and supply chain efficiency. and thus accelerating the availability of this very important protein. We run these challenges just as we do the equity taking side across a year with deep bespoke subject matter expert mentoring, with the main difference being that it's funded through external sponsorship and it's non-dilutive. For this challenge, we had a strong response with over 180 applications across the globe, which came in really very evenly: Asia Pacific and Latin America, Europe, and the Middle East, with 50% focused on animal health innovations, and the remainder spanning innovations that focused on water, farm, technology, algae, seaweed, with many focused on the smallholder farmers. The 8 innovations that have made it into the challenge are impressive. They span from different species: tilapia, barramundi, shrimp, salmon, halophytes, and others, and different technologies: water, IoT, nutrition, health, and spanning the globe: Argentina, Chile, Israel, Canada, US, UK, Singapore, and Indonesia. We have watched each company grow in their science and technology and commercialization as they have made the most of the knowledge and time invested, and the unprecedented bespoke access to industry-leading subject matter experts and mentors. We are extremely proud of what they have achieved and will achieve as they positively impact the aquaculture industry. These are all winners who not only have developed innovation transformational to the aquaculture industry, but possess a hardworking, passionate, and creative winning spirit, and approach each challenge they face with openness and optimism, which for an entrepreneur are the characteristics which separate the wheat from the chaff. And finally, let me say thank you. As a nonprofit initiative, the Global Aquaculture Challenge is created and operated by the Yield Lab Asia Pacific in conjunction with industry sponsors who are providing access to prizes in excess of $1.6 million US. We thank our lead sponsor, the U.S. Soybean Export Council, USSEC. Their active involvement has made this aquaculture challenge possible. And other sponsors including IBM, Aquabridge, Salmon Sustentable of Chile, Enterprise Singapore, Startup SG, the Global Seafood Alliance, and the Animal AgTech Innovation Summit. In addition, working directly with these 8 companies has been an array of industry thought leaders and subject matter experts from the most prestigious corporate C-level executives, NGOs, private companies, research institutions, and universities. We thank you all. Now I ask back onto the stage the lady who has orchestrated this Global Aquaculture Challenge and is running it like a well-oiled machine, our program director, Sophie Guo.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you very much for your invaluable contribution to this program. Well, now we are ready to present you to our 8 finalists. I would like to invite our first finalist, Liris Madjunintas, CEO and co-founder of Jala from Indonesia, on the stage to present her innovation. Welcome, Liris.
10,000 shrimp farmers are now using our apps to manage their farm online. My name is Liris, CEO and co-founder of Jala Tech. We are improving aquaculture with tech, providing data-driven shrimp farming. In 2015, Aryo, my co-founder, a shrimp farmer, gathered an engineer squad to help him solve the uncertainty in the harvest failures. And knowing that tech can make impact to the shrimp industry, we committed not only solving this problem, but also millions of other shrimp farmers. 30 billion shrimps is considered as the top 3 seafood product that we want to enhance, and 8% of this is actually in Indonesia, home for more than 1 million people that depends their life in the shrimp industry itself. 23,000 loss per hectare due to shrimp death, and this is so unpredictable. The factors are related to the shrimp disease, biosecurity, and even also the water quality issue. In the post-productions after harvest, farmers also facing the market access problem with an unstable price, and not to mention that the lack of traceability data in the system as well. Jala is building a digital ecosystem across the shrimp industry, And with Jala, farmers now can track their farms online, real time. We develop monitoring platforms as well as IoT of water quality monitoring that send data directly to the apps. And collected data from the farms goes to our apps, and we articulate it into insights that give farmers growth and harvest predictions. It also has a recommendation system for farmers to take action based on the data. Through farm practice changes, our farmers has increased their productivity by 30%, lowering their feed conversion ratio by 17%, which means more profit for farmers and less carbon footprint for the environment. And from thousands of data cycles that already collected into our apps, we create a Stream Indonesia monitoring platform. We can now see the stream growth, productivity, SR, survival rate, FCR, and so on for all regions in Indonesia. And one of the insights as well is knowing that when is the farmers will harvest, in what size, and how much the biomass is. And in the other hand, we also know the processing companies need. So this database and the production mapping lead us to a traceable trading solution. Here, we assist our shrimp farmers in connecting with the processing companies through our local suppliers and providing quicker, safer payment for the farmers. With these digitalizations, we can now be able to track traceability from farm to table. And on the business model, we have subscriptions for the applications. It's free for farmers to use. We also sell or renting the hardware. And on the trading business, we take commission fee for each kilogram of shrimp being sold. On the smart farms, we also providing financing for the farmers through our financial institutions and even a profit sharing business. And since launch in 2019, we have collected more than 9,000 data cycles, onboarding more than 10,000 users, more than 20,000 ponds registered in our platform. And on the ground, we partner with fitness companies, engage with processing companies. We also collaborate with fintech companies, insurance companies to help farmers financially and so on. And last year, we reached 800,000 US dollar revenue, and even tripled this year. For January to September, we have more than 2.3 million US dollar as revenue. Our goal with the 3 years, in the next 3 years, is increasing 50% of smallholders profitability, addressing SDG 8. We are also improving sort of like 200% improvement on the stream productivity, addressing SDG number 14.
1 minute.
We plan to acquire 10% Indonesian market by 2026. It's sort of like more than 250 million revenue there. And to achieve this figure, we are seeking for collaboration on farm financing, supply chain, product bundling, or even of certification company. So we welcome collaborations, and the team itself, led by me, has decades of experience in the shrimp industry and engineering. We have 40 people now and growing and hiring. The investors on the list is 500 startup, Hatch, and CI, and we are now closing pre-A. Our goal is to improve shrimp production in more tech-savvy, sustainable, so that we can eat safe and traceable shrimps. So together, let's feed the world with sustainable shrimp.
For your presentation. You are now being joined by Dr. Lee Chi-wee, Director of the Aquaculture Innovation Center of Singapore. Good morning, Dr. Lee.
Hi, good morning.
Good evening.
Hi.
Good evening.
Dr. Lee has questions for you.
Yes, Iris, congratulations to your fine work in supporting the Indonesian farmers. I'm just curious, you show that the farmers were able to achieve a 30% increase in productivity and also 70% improvement in the FCR. Now, among all the data sets you collected, which primary data sets are actually contributed to this improvement in performance?
So the data set that we've collected on the ground consists of feed sampling, water quality. Those three are the most important thing to create sort of like insight for farmers. We also collected like disease data, mortality data that also affecting this. But the top three is the feed sampling and the water quality data.
I see. Okay. So the are you planning to collect other data, for example, the biological data? Because most of the data collecting are the chemical data, right? So is there any other data you plans to introduce into a system in the future?
Yes, definitely. So we're looking for collaborations where we can collect data from satellite imagery, image processing, and other IoT products that can embed into our system. We talked to IBM Research Center on this one, and my other colleague on startup that working on the satellite imagery, but also we come for others that play on this background as well, Dr. Lee.
We also know there are many competitors coming on board. So can you identify your direct competitors and how will you differentiate yourselves from them?
Yes. So in Indonesia, we have two direct competitors. One is Aqua Easy, they're only solely mostly on the software and as well the hardware from BOSS. But we know that the growth is not as fast as our growth in terms of users, data collected, and so on. We also have marked like Aviary as our new competitor, as they also enter the stream market right now. They just launched the apps, I think, in September. So we have 2 years on data collecting that more advanced on the database itself that currently make us the leaders in Indonesian market.
Thank you. Thank you. I have no further questions. Thank you, Iris.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Thanks. Sophia, over to you.
Thank you. So I would like to welcome our second finalist, Dr. Rishita Changede, CEO and founder of TeOra from Singapore. Take it away, Rishita.
Good day, everyone. I'm Rishita, founder at TeOra, where we are building the future of sustainable food. Next, please. We know that 30% of our food is lost to diseases. And the important thing I want to point out here is that these losses are borne by the farmers who, if subsequent crops are lost, cannot come back and farm. The only solutions available to them, next please, are in forms of antibiotics, harmful chemicals, pesticides, especially in the tropical aquaculture side. These solutions have human health issues, and this needs to stop. That is why we at TeOra, next please, advanced science solutions are now available to improve this, next please, which have been applied successfully in larger industries such as salmon. But this is not available to shrimp, next please, where injecting every single animal is not feasible because of the large number and small size of these animals. The only feasible solutions are oral. Next, please. That is where we at TeOra work to solve these diseases. The first disease that we are looking at is the white spot syndrome virus, which has to date cost more than $15 billion in losses to the industry. Next, please. We use two main technologies to do so, and which are, next please, antigens designed by TeOra, which are basically proteins that will prevent these diseases by stimulating the immune system. These are then put in protein cages that are specifically designed for aquaculture and then encapsulated. Next, please. Our initial results show promise, where we see a huge boost in performance compared to the placebo. Next, please. So the biggest differentiation that we bring at TeOra is essentially the encapsulation technology. This allows our protein solutions to be, one, stable in the aquatic environment, and two, to be absorbed by the shrimp without getting destroyed in the stomach. This increases what is called as bioavailability, meaning that normally if 10% of it was getting absorbed in the body, now almost 80% can be absorbed. This increases the overall efficiency of the product that is fed using oral solutions. So now, instead of injections, you can simply mix our solutions in the feed, and they are now available to farmers no matter what the size of the farm. Next, please. With this, we will have an impact where the amount of production can increase because losses are prevented and the antibiotics used are reduced. Next, please. We don't stop at shrimp, and this platform technology is applicable for solutions of disease prevention or health improvement in fish as well. As we know, only 1% of the fish are vaccinated. This provides a huge market opportunity. Next, please. So the way that we go to market is through distributors. We have 3 distributors. Of course, we cannot do it alone, and our partners are the key to bring the best of these technologies all the way to the farmers. So we are working with 3 distributors in 2 different countries where they can allow us to sell our products and to get it legally registered through their know-how in those markets. Next, please. In addition, they are doing commercial trials on their site, which will save TeOra a cost of $1 million. This is then ready to license to large feed manufacturers or disease prevention solutions, which can have each solution can have a huge annual recurring revenue. Next, please. Currently, we are not the only ones in the market. There are other solutions in forms of startup. So they can either be therapeutic, meaning preventive, meaning solving the disease after it occurs, or prevention. Our advantage lies in the fact that we are low cost, we are non-GMO, and of course, we are sitting in the region where 90% of the shrimps are produced. Next, please. Our second solution is enhancing growth using growth factors. Next, please. This will improve the feed conversion ratio, and this has a huge application across different industries. I'm happy to discuss this more in detail separately. Next, please. The total market size of these problems are up to $200 billion because we start with shrimp. They can go to then fish solutions and solutions to other animals, finally leading to solutions for humans. Because of our platform technology and our approach with our strategic partners, we achieve this using the following. Next, please. Following path for every product, where we start with a partnership. Each product has its own unique intellectual property, and product development is completed, followed by lab trials. Currently, our products are in lab trials. We will have commercial trials next year for our first product, after which it is ready for large-scale deployment. This is then possible for multiple other solutions in aquaculture and in larger markets, in larger animals. Next, please. This has a potential of 100 million ARR in the next 3 years. To achieve this, we are opening our seed round at the end of the year. So do contact us. The ask for this round is $2 million, and this is to bring the first products to market and explore the next markets to bring maximum value in the shortest amount of time. Next, please. We have the best team to deliver this, where we have expertise in science, in operations, in scale-up manufacturing, in bioinformatics, and from universities across the world. Next, please. We have the best advisory board, again, with expertise from founders who have scaled companies from seed stage all the way to exit, from finance side, from IP side, and most importantly, from the science side to bring the best of the solutions to the market. We are supported by some of the best names in the industry. And we have basically our achievements include that we were a part of the Hatch cohort. We have some presented at the Aquaculture Innovation Summit and have received a competitive peer-reviewed grant from the Good Food Institute. Next, please. With that, I would like to thank you and invite you for 2 different things. One is partnerships to bring novel, innovative products to all in any of these sectors. And second, if you are interested to make sustainability profitable, please come and join us. Thank you. We are open to questions.
Thank you, Rishita. Dr. Lee has questions for you.
Hi, Rishita. I have two concerns here. The first is, even though you say the cost of your product is low, I really want to know what you mean by low, because usually for peptide vaccine and deliver orally, due to the inefficiency and also wastage in the gut, of course, you address it with the microencapsulations. So that translates to the higher cost to the farmers. So can you go over one more time how you define that, and compared to your competitors, your cost is actually lower?
Yeah, so our costs are lower because first of all, as it is manufactured in food grade setups, so we do not need very high pharma grade GMP practices. This A, reduces the cost, and B, because it's microencapsulated, even though it's fed orally, because the availability increases to greater than 80%, the amount required reduces. So the current pricing that we have come up with is similar to the functional food that is added on top of the feed in the shrimp farms, and even after that we have 80% margins.
Okay, so another concern I have is the regulatory control of your product eventually when you try to register it, right? So all depends on the platform or the host you used to produce a peptide. So have you addressed that before you embark on your project?
Yes, so in terms of regulatory concerns, all the products that we use are GRAS compliant. Our microorganisms are yeast. Yeast extract is anyways included in fish food. And since they are non-GMO, meaning the whole live organism is not included in the feed, this means that the regulatory becomes like easier. So initially, all the things that we use are FDA approved, GRAS compliant, so safe for human consumption as well. And the second one is that they are produced in a non-GMO fashion because they are purified from the organism.
So I do notice that for injections, you tend to want to have pure peptides. Now, if it's oral, you may not need to have pure peptides. Am I right to say?
Yes.
So can you just use a whole yeast so that will lower your cost even further?
We use the remaining yeast to bulk up the product, but we still we do a crude purification so that the encapsulation becomes very effective, and we don't need to encapsulate very large volumes.
Okay, good. Thanks a lot. All the best to you.
Thank you.
I would like to welcome our third finalist on the stage. So it's Yair Fecher, CEO and founder of Genufeed from Israel. It's all yours, Yair.
Thank you so much, Sophie. My name is Yair Fecher. I'm the founder and CEO of Genufeed, based in Israel. So at Genufeed, our goal is to make insects a cost-effective and sustainable aquafeed alternative. So by now, you've probably heard a lot about the fast-growing insect farming industry. It attracts huge investments. But the reality is that it's still not a real alternative in aquafeed because insect meal is substantially more expensive than fish meal. In addition, it's only an ingredient in the capital-intensive extrusion process. So this is the process that is currently practiced. It's a multi-stage process that requires substantial investment in equipment. And at the end, as I mentioned, you get only an ingredient, not a complete fish feed. Another challenge is how to derive more value from the byproduct, the insect oil. So extrusion is a very complex and capital-intensive process, typically requiring annual sales threshold of at least 20,000 tons just to get to a break-even point. So the question is, now that the technology to farm insects on a mass commercial scale exists, can we actually feed them directly to fish and use nature's original fish feed? So the answer is that it's a little bit more complicated than that. the black soldier fly larva has an excellent nutritional profile, but specific amino acids such as methionine are below the required quantity. In addition, omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA are essential for fish, but are not naturally occurring in the larvae. Next slide, please. In addition, we need to make sure that previous slide. In addition, we must make sure that certain functional materials are present in the fish feed. An example is astaxanthin, giving salmon its beautiful color. So what's our solution? We have a very different approach. We keep the insects whole, protein and fat, and we do not render them. We use them whole and we coat them with an enrichment material that complements the full needs of nutritional needs of the fish. We can then feed the insects whole or chopped directly to fish. Our technology is PCT patent protected. So in comparison to extrusion with 17 different processes, we have only a one-stage process of coating and enriching the larva. It's a much simpler and cheaper aquafeed production process. So in this graph, you can see the results of the feeding trial we conducted. Fish that were fed with Genufeed's coated larva grew faster and gained more weight on less feed. We also recorded 50% fewer mortality cases. So our business model is all about scalability. We decided not to operate our own insect farms, and instead we will be collaborating with a fast-growing community of insect farmers. This way we can scale up much faster and focus on our core technology. So in terms of impact and sustainability, the combined benefits of the reduced cost of feed, the lower FCR, and the fewer mortality cases will reduce fish farmers' feed costs by 30%. By 2027, we plan to, using our enrichment materials, we will help upcycle 5 million tons of organic matter, which would have otherwise been sent to landfills and generate greenhouse gases.
1 minute.
By the same year, we will help save 1 million tons of pelagic fish, which would have otherwise been processed into fish meal. We have an excellent team of experts in fish biology, fish nutrition, biochemistry, aquaculture, and the seafood business. We have our rainbow trout ready to launch. We received validation from many customers, and we have our IP protected. We're currently raising $2.5 million, mainly to start our commercial production of our trout formulation, to develop additional product versions for additional fish species, and to expand our R&D team capacity. So to quickly recap, we have a fantastic team. We have a game-changing concept with patent protection. We have a scalable, profitable business model. We have customers that are waiting to start using our product. And we have a multi-billion-dollar industry that is hungry for innovation. Thank you for your attention. Please get in touch.
Thank you, Yair. Fergal Odoncha, research scientist aquaculture at IBM Research in Ireland, would like to know more about your innovation.
Hi, Fergal.
Thank you, Yair. Thank you for the fascinating talk. I mean, such a critical topic. That was fascinating. I have a question. RAS systems have huge appeal from a precision farm or management perspective. Can you talk to the advantages of Genufeed's product in recirculating aquaculture systems?
Absolutely. So the RAS industry, or many of the facilities, are typically being financed based on offtake agreements that the operators sign with local retailers. So they secure the sale of the fish, and this way they can raise capital, but they are still exposed to the input side, to the price of feed, which is linked to world commodity prices. With Genufeed, we enable the production of feed that is completely independent of world commodity prices. Another advantage is that the fecal material, we observed that the fecal material that the fish that were fed with the coated larva, they give off a much solid and easy to filter material. So that's very important for us. Another advantage is that we use the organism whole. We feed fish with whole insects so that they do not crumble down and do not dissolve. And as a result, they do not pollute the water.
Okay, excellent. Extending from that, you outline a number of scalability metrics. Can you explain in more detail the terms of the scalability?
Sure. So we decided not to compete with insect farmers. There's a tremendous community of insect farms being set up every day in many parts of the world. And these companies are developing great technologies for insect farming. We want to help them and collaborate with them by providing them with our enrichment materials that they will be applying on their own harvested larvae. This way, we can focus on our core technology, which is the insect enrichment, and scale much, much faster.
Oh, fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sophie, back to you.
Thank you. So now I would like to welcome our fourth finalist, Yannick Nyberg, CEO and co-founder of Seawater Solutions from the UK. Welcome, Yannick.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm Yannick Nyberg, the founder and CEO of Seawater Solutions, an agri-environmental company based in Glasgow in Scotland that restores degraded land and degraded coastlines through our regenerative seawater aquaculture approach. We all know that aquaculture is the key to feeding a growing population and to support marine environmental restoration. However, the rapid expansion of aquaculture globally creates two major problems: wastewater from operations that destroy ecologies and the production of aquaculture feed that depletes marine resources. Our regenerative seawater aquaculture system is our answer to the two bottlenecks standing in the way of sustainable aquaculture. The RSA approach uses a variety of wetland ecologies such as mangrove forests, seagrass meadows, and salt marsh ecologies to mimic natural ecosystems on degraded land operations ranging from just a few hectares to thousands of hectares. Now, coastal wetlands, where 40% of species worldwide live and breed, are disproportionately important. Making up only 5% of the world's landmass, they sequester 30 times of global carbon, prevent coastal erosion, and require no fresh water. Now, this circular approach tackles wastewater and feed issues by producing feed on-site using these wetland species while recirculating wastewater over thousands of hectares of agricultural land that absorb pollutants, using them as fertilizer. No input, high output, producing over 30 aquaculture, agricultural, and agroforestry products, along with huge amounts of carbon that alone are worth around $5,000 per hectare per annum. Now, the RSA system, next slide, please. Yeah, the RSA system is made up of a number of modular and complementary component parts. Constructed wetlands like mangrove wetlands create the infrastructure to establish aquacultures and agricultures by first regenerating land and providing the first set of ingredients to fodder. Now, this is quickly followed up by seawater agricultures, which make up the wastewater treatment element, using halophytes or naturally salt-tolerant species. Coincidentally, these crops have been proven to fully substitute conventional aquaculture feed, and our trials of the last 2 years have shown that some species of shrimp and tilapia, for example, can be fed fully on these species. And finally, a mix of extensive and hyper-intensive aquacultures feeds the operation with nutrient-rich water. Next slide, please. On a smaller scale, we have introduced elements of the RSA approach to existing aquaculture operations in Southeast Asia and Southern Africa. And this model represents the addition of constructed wetlands and floating wetlands in Vietnam on shrimp operations. And over the last 4 years in Vietnam, we have introduced this approach to 6 operations who can expect to reduce wastewater discharge by over 60% and produce 30% of feed on site. Now, when we deconstruct the system, we can see the range of species and ecologies that are represented in our operations. The entire tidal range is involved, from seaweeds to upper salt marsh ecologies, in total comprising over 400 different plants and species. Next slide. Now, by tying and linking operations to high-value markets. And by layering social and environmental benefits onto operational sites, we're increasing the overall value of the bottom line and of that land, as these component parts complement one another economically while requiring no input once established. In comparison, conventional aquacultures in the global south easily spend 75% of expenses on feed. So founded in 2018, our young organization has grown dramatically in the last 2 years alone. We've launched operations in diverse topographies, strategic partnerships with international organizations, research institutions, and national governments has given us access to significant resources to help scale this solution in a very short period of time. But the best thing about this innovation is that it has a solid track record going back to the 1980s. In 1999, we launched the very first RSA system in Eritrea, which turned 2,000 hectares of coastal desert into productive ecologies, where weekly exports of shrimp to the EU occurred in just 2 years of breaking ground. Now, you might be wondering how old I was in 1999, and I can assure you I was not yet 10. However, myself and my team take some ownership over this groundbreaking project. So I'm thrilled to announce that Seawater Solutions has officially merged with Regenerative Resources Co. back in July this year. This team comprises of the visionaries behind this innovation and have inspired us to follow their tracks 5 years ago and to build up on over 40 years of work behind the solution. Next slide, please. So no slide is big enough to hold a combined team, but I want to highlight my Seawater Solutions team that have been with me since the start. Now that I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Regenerative Resources Co., my team will remain intact and can continue to operate in many regions that they work in. So following on from years of R&D and collaborative projects, we're keen to work with you around specific R&D objectives that we may share, such as regenerative feed or wastewater treatment. We offer this as a consultancy as well. Operationally, we have licensed small, medium scale systems to aquaculture producers and offer these as well. Lastly, as we continue to develop large RSA systems in Africa, Asia, Latin America, we are seeking impact investors to support any number of these, which require between $8 to $25 million to become fully operational in 2 years. So if you see any synergies with our approach and values, do not hesitate to get in touch. And finally, I want to thank the dedicated team at the Global Aquaculture Challenge and the Yield Lab Asia Pacific that have been amazing these last couple months. We're very grateful for the support and guidance along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Yannick, for your presentation and the great news. I think Fergal has questions for you.
Great.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Yannick. It's inspirational and critical topic, and I think especially as we're building up towards COP26 in your backyard. One question, how do you manage feces and organic matters here? Is there compost or silage or worm, humus production as fertilizer in agriculture?
That's right. So it's a combination of both. It is a closed loop system. There's over 30 different types of aquaculture species in these large scale system. And all of that wastewater, which can be up to 1 million cubic meters of water a day, is run through that system. So nothing leaves the site. There is elements of compost for energy generation and for secondary fertilizer applications as well that will be sold down the road.
Okay, and I guess a key question here is, how do you plan to successfully compete for land in which to implement this innovation? I mean, realizing coasts are traditionally where people want to live, where the highest populations are.
Yeah, I mean, operationally and from the structural point, lands and the tensions around land obviously vary hugely in different regions. Ghana, for instance, in West Africa, high population density in coastal areas. And this really requires a unique blend of a political solution, development solution, and really a focus on communities as well. So really the structural partnerships with the UN, international organizations, and of course the local governments is absolutely key when you're talking about 10,000 hectares of land in a highly populated site. Namibia, it's not the case, right? Because you don't have informal settlements in coastal areas, everything's very confined to urban settings. So it really varies region by region. But fortunately, our team has been working in the public space for many, many years. Many of us come from government positions and international development backgrounds that help facilitate the land aspect, which is, of course, a huge lead time as well, sometimes 2 years to get some of these large scale sites up and running and get the land secured in a way that is actually holistic, both in terms of how we engage with communities or as well in terms of how we partner with regional governments and national governments.
Thank you. I mean, it's such fascinating work across the entirety of the system. It's thank you for that. Yeah, excellent. Sophie, I'll hand back to you.
Thank you both. I would like to welcome the fifth finalist. So it's Luis Barleta, CEO of FeedVax from Argentina. Take it away, Luis. Let's move on to our next contestant. I would like to invite Dr. Jorn Bethke, Scientific Director and Co-founder of Salmokine from Chile.
Hi, everyone.
Jorn, it's all yours. And
Okay.
to the audience, we'll come back to Luis when his network works better. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jorn, the Scientific Director and Co-founder of Salmokine, where we develop groundbreaking biotech solutions for a sustainable aquaculture worldwide. The biggest challenge in Chilean salmon farms are bacterial pathogens. Last year, over 87% of death caused by infection was attributed only to three main bacteria, mainly P. rickettsia and Tenacibacillum. P. rickettsia alone generates losses about $700 million every year. And every year, over $200 million are spent in vaccines and antibiotics. Current vaccines have poor effectiveness, and therefore the industry uses high quantities of antibiotics, generating bacterial resistance, export bans, and water pollution. At Salmokine, our vision is to lead global aquaculture health through biotech innovations, and our mission is to develop groundbreaking and environmentally friendly solutions that increase sustainability, productivity, and animal welfare in aquaculture industry. Salmokine was co-founded by two highly passionate and experienced scientists, that's Cristian Valenzuela and myself. And our partner, Pedro, is the R&D project manager at FAB and is deeply involved in our product validation process. And we also have the support of two highly experienced mentors, that's Robert and Leonard, through the Global Aquaculture Challenge. Our platform uses key immune system proteins from the animal to stimulate its own immunity without causing an exacerbated inflammatory immune response. For the first application in salmon, we selected a protein that we called InBoost and optimized the sequence, expressed it in yeast, and treat the fish. Currently, we are validating InBoost as a vaccine complement and in the near future as a feed supplement. We found the company in 2017. In 2080 and 90, we demonstrated a protective effect of InBoost of 50% against P. rickettsia, next please, and 85% against Tenacibacillum. And this year, on top of being among the 8 finalists of the Global Aquaculture Challenge, Nutreco New Frontiers and Equitas Capital contacted us to explore future investment opportunities. We also are working on collaboration with Salmon Sustentable. What is our competitive advantage is that we are the first to offer this kind of innovation, since InBoost is from the fish and it induces the overexpression of antimicrobial peptides, is environmentally friendly and effective at very low dosages. If used in the entire Chilean industry, salmon farm industry, InBoost will generate over $60 million additional revenue only by reducing mortality. We have a B2B business model currently focused mainly in licensing to the vet pharma companies and in the future to the aqua feed companies. And by improving inefficient vaccines and removing high volumes of antibiotics that are poured into the oceans, we are generating profound changes, contributing to the 50%, next please, antibiotic reduction goal set by the Chilean salmon industry, reducing mortality by 25 to 50%, and reducing ocean pollution. We target the 2 most commonly used vaccines against bacterial infection in the Chilean salmon farming, that is the +2 and +5 vaccines. And based on conservative assumptions, our projected income is a combination of InBoost as a vaccine complement and as a feed supplement, reaching around $13 US $13 million revenue by 2025. Next month, we will finalize the InBoost validation as a vaccine complement, and straight after, we would like to invite investors that are present in the room today to contact us for our fish seed round that we will use to upscale our protein production and go-to-market strategy. We also are looking for our recombinant protein producers for our production or possible partnerships. And next year, we expect to complete the field trial of InBoost and reach the market late 2023. So contact us anytime and join us in making the radical changes needed for a more sustainable aquaculture worldwide. Thank you very much for the attention.
Thank you, Jorn. I would like to welcome Sylvia Wolf on the stage. Sylvia is the president and CEO of Aqua Bounty, and she has questions for you.
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, Jorn. Thank you very much for a very interesting discussion this morning. I've just got a couple of questions for you. The product that you develop must be produced on what we would think of as a big scale. Would you manage this, or would you have others do that for you?
The production on a big scale will be done by a third party as a strategic partner, mainly. And in fact, we are talking to a company specialized in recombinant protein production and aqua health product development that is settled in Spain. And they have all the good manufacturing practices and complies with the European Union directive standards and certifications. And also the company has already fulfills all the regulatory and issues stipulated by the Chilean regulatory entities. So it will be easy for us to import the product and sell it in Chile without problem.
Great. What are your capabilities and milestones to expand this particular innovation to other species and other geographies?
The strategic development of our company is to expand to new species and develop new products following the same technical development that we have done. In fact, InBoost, the protein that we are currently working on, we have made some bioinformatic structural analysis, and it could work as it is in tilapia today. So we can test that make some bioassays and test if that works. But by in silico analysis, that it should work fine today in tilapia. But the idea is to expand to new important aquafeed species.
Thanks, Jorn.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to welcome Luis Bardeta again on the stage. So Luis is the CEO of FeedVax, and he's going to present you his innovation. Hi, Luis.
Well, again, my name is Luis Bardeta. I'm the CEO and founder of FeedVax, and we are developing a platform of oral vaccines for animal production. Next, please. Due to infection disease, the quantity of fish worth $6 billion is currently lost in the world, which is enough to feed 90 million people. And to combat these diseases, the industry has implemented two unsatisfactory solutions. The most common is the use of antibiotics, which, although they are easy to apply since you can add it to the feed, remain in the fish and in the water as traces, which contribute to the appearance of bacteria that can resist them. And according to the World Health Organization, is one of the top 10 global public health threats facing humanity. The other alternatives, next please, is injectable vaccines that are very impractical, since you have to remove the fish from the water, anesthetize it, and inject them one by one manually. At FeedVax, we saw our first challenge in this scenario, and we developed a platform of oral vaccines that goes in the feed. Through a proprietary and patented system, our oral vaccines induce a potent and protective immune response. Easy to use, cost-effective for the farmer, zero stress for the fish, without contamination or undesirable effects on the consumer. Our first challenge was to produce an oral vaccines against streptococcus disease in tilapia, the second most economically relevant fish in the world. But this platform can be adapted to different fish, animals, and functions beyond disease prevention. From our first prototype in 2020 to our envisioned approval in Brazil in 2022, FeedVax is growing exponentially. So far, we have raised $500,000 from GridX, Hatch, and a grant, and recently closed a bridge round to finish the research and do the farm trials. This is only the beginning. To reach the market and advance in the following developments, we'll look for $5 million after completing the field trials next year. We want to announce in this special event that we just closed an agreement with a big pharma company to distribute our first vaccine worldwide, which will begin to be sold next year. Although we plan to sell close to $100 million in the tilapia sector, we will also commercialize $250 million in other vaccines in the area of aquaculture and $1,000 million in the rest of the animals. To achieve all this, we have a team of more than 30 people, and the team that leads FeedVax is made up of world-class professionals with experience in research and launching different animal species vaccines to the global market. For all of us, it's a fact that with each dose of our first vaccine, almost 0.4 grams of antibiotics will not longer be used. If we achieve 30% penetration in the market, we will eliminate not less than 1,500 tons of antibiotics in fish production and in water. And this is only with the first vaccine. Finally, from FeedVax, we propose a systemic approach to the urgent problem of improving animal production with a solution without environmental impact, zero animal stress, and convenient for the producer. We do so while it is estimated by the year 2050, the world will reach a peak in demand for animal protein that the current production system will not be able to supply. It would take 2 planet Earths to reach that level. Can you imagine taking a deadline out of the equation? FeedVax can, and it knows how to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luis. Now, Sylvia has a question for you.
Hi, Sylvia.
Thank you, Luis. This is definitely an innovative technology. What type of production systems would be most likely to successfully adopt this innovation in their feed delivery approach?
Well, I guess it's the RAS system because the level of identification is very high. And that said, and because it can be added to the feed, it will be critical to be used in any fattening period where it's almost impossible to handle the fish in order to inject the vaccine.
Do you plan to enter the salmon industry with oral vaccines?
Good question. I would say that first things first. We will first go deeper into the tilapia sector and keep working in developing new tools to our oral vaccine platform. And the answer is yes. We will have vaccines for salmon and other species as well. And we want to in 5 years' time, we want to become the company with more vaccines in the animal health market.
Thanks, Luis.
You're welcome, Sylvia.
Thanks to both of you. Now I would like to welcome on the stage Dr. Tom Ketterer, CEO of Xylome from USA. Take it away, Tom.
first slide then would be for an introduction to Xylome. We're a yeast technology company creating salmon feed ingredients using a concept called circularity by design. And we're happy to have this opportunity to present to the audience today, provided to us by the sponsors and our mentors who helped us with this. The challenge we're faced is commercial salmon feeds today contain fish products, and fish meals in these feeds are not sustainable. The feed is a major cost due to the cost of the fish meal and fish oil as the largest cost components. Xanthan pigments account for about 20% of the cost of the feed, and the current feeds have less than ideal levels of omega-3s, fatty acids, which provide to the fish a component that consumers are looking for. So we need to supply a cost-effective, high omega-3 fat. Next, please. Feed. So I want to talk a little bit about circularity by design. Basically, the concept is to take fermentation byproducts, the leftovers from previous products done by fermentation, blending them with agricultural feedstocks such as soy protein and soy oil, and then recreating a fermentation product that can be used for aquaculture. And this is really a circularity by design to help us generate sustainable products. Next slide. Xylome's solution is to create a yeast-based fish oil and a yeast-based red xanthan pigment and combine those with soy protein and soy oil to create an inexpensive, sustainable, and competitively priced feed for salmon. Next slide. The basic technology is a mixture of engineered yeast and fermentation technology. And by putting together the combination of soy protein and soy oil with the products of our fermentation, we're able to embrace circularity by design. Next slide. The positive environmental impacts of what we're doing are pretty significant. The Xylome feed solution using yeast compared to conventional fish feeds will provide a 3.5-fold increase in the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, or a 71% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. Next slide, please. So the bottom line from an ecosystem point of view is that because Xylome's feed components don't use, they have no fish components, we expect to save 2.8 million tons of fish per year that will not be used for production of salmon. So saving wild fish populations is a critical component. Going into the market, the US market for salmon will be $6 billion by 2030. And globally, it's at least 5 times that number. So fish market, in particular fish protein, is going up because of global demand. And we see a significant cost advantage to producing yeast-based feeds using circularity by design compared to the cost of conventional salmon feeds. Xylome's looking at hitting revenues of about $145 million per year by 2030, based on this one product alone within our portfolio of products. Next slide, please. So the Xylome team is a collection of molecular biologists and biochemical engineers. We have also been very thankful for Sylvia Wolf, who was our mentor during this program at Aqua, who's the CEO of Aqua Bounty, and Dr. Eugene Wan at Cornell, who was also a mentor. The next slide, please. So we're in a position where we're seeking strategic partners, investors, and we are also doing technology out licensing. Xylome is a technology company, and we're very thankful for having the opportunity to present yeast technology for salmon feed ingredients here at this presentation. And thank again the sponsors for the opportunity. Okay.
Thank you, Tom. I would like to welcome Ken Corcoran, Program Integrity Analyst at the Global Seafood Alliance. So Ken would ask you some questions. Thank you.
Good day, Ken.
Hello. Good day, Tom. Very interesting project. Look forward to going commercial. Could you please explain to us what makes your yeast technology unique from others that already exist in the marketplace?
Okay, so to be clear, Xylome focuses in on non-conventional yeast. So there are roughly a handful of industrial yeast. Xylome's technology is built around developing the genetic tools and molecular biology systems for the other 1,500 yeast species in nature. So the yeast we're dealing with is very specifically selected from those 1,500. We've created the transformation systems and genetic tools necessary to create very low-cost lipid production compared to any yeast that's ever existed. And so our yeast will be actually above 95% oil at the point of harvest in a fermenter.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Could you also explain what is it that makes this circularity by design cost effective? It may be a term that not everyone has heard frequently, but so what makes that a cost effective process?
Okay, so we basically have been relying on stillages coming out of ethanol plants and large industrial organizations that run fermenters and taking their byproduct waste streams, which are nutrient rich and very, very inexpensive because there's no new products, no new harvested product added. We're blending that with agricultural feedstocks such as soy protein or soy oil. And by combining a very low cost stillage with a makeup of some agricultural feedstock, we're able to rerun a new fermentation to make the salmon feed in this case. The salmon feed stillages we plan to use are actually coming from a fermentation of palm oil. So and the palm oil is actually coming from a fermentation of ethanol from corn. So it's a way of really extending the life of agricultural products. And we're focused in on soy protein because it's the least expensive protein source. So there are no yeast capable of making protein as cheaply as soy protein today.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay.
Sophie, back to you.
Thank you, both of you. So now I would like to welcome our last finalist. Evan Hall is the CEO of Wittaya Aqua from Canada. It's all yours, Evan.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning for everyone all across the world. My name is Evan Hall. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Wittaya Aqua, and we're bringing precision aquaculture to life. Next slide, please. So this is news probably to no one in the audience or in the program, but aquaculture is complex. There's over 400 species that are farmed commercially. There's literally millions of producers around the world. Tens of thousands of feed ingredients and feed suppliers service the industry, creating quite literally an infinite range of feed formulations. This all takes place in environments from the Arctic and Antarctic circles to the equator and even indoors, all while taking place underwater. Next slide. So the impact of this or the results of this can be fairly catastrophic. As an industry, there are billions of dollars lost in revenue every year. There's also billions in wasted resources. For example, bringing new products to market of dubious quality or of an impact that's hard to actually understand. There's an unknown environmental impact that's very difficult to quantify. And what we would say is a limited understanding of cause and effect relationships. So what inputs are driving the good part of aquaculture or the bad part of aquaculture, all leading to huge financial, environmental, and reputational risks to the industry and to individual firms. Next slide, please. So at Wittaya, we're taking all of this complexity, the fragmentation of the industry, and turning all of that into knowledge, insights, and simplicity. And we see a world where every member of the aquaculture industry, no matter how big or small, flourishes. We have ambitions to not only reduce the carbon footprint of the industry globally, but also improve feed conversion ratios in aquaculture by 20% over the next 5 years. Next slide, please. We're achieving this using a combination of our proprietary in-house built software platforms and a world-class service offering. Next slide, please. Our Aqua farm, we like to call farm management reinvented. It allows not only the digitization of farm collected data, but also provides currently truly prescriptive insights into how your animals are growing, what you should feed them, how much you should be feeding them per day or per week, and is highly tailorable to a range of production environments and a range of different species. Next slide, please. Our Aqua feed platform is business intelligence for aqua feed. And our raw material map also is focused on digitizing ingredient databases, the quality of the ingredients that are being used in feeds, and using that to help businesses derive insights. So our economic valuation tool is a key example of this. It helps firms determine the difference between price, what you pay for a particular ingredient, and the value, what you get from that ingredient as well. And that can range from nutritionally based value, or increasingly we're incorporating sustainability metrics into that as well. We also have a feed formulation tool that is not meant to replace commercial feed formulation software, but serves two main purposes. One, to provide more transparency for feed ingredient companies on how their ingredient is used in a feed formulation for over 30 species, and right now I believe over 18 countries, and also allows them to quantify the best price for their product. Next slide, please. We have a range of solutions as well that range from bespoke data analytics projects to R&D support, and helping firms get a good handle on what market opportunities exist. We have, over the last 4 years, increasingly gained a lot of traction in the industry. The takeaway from this slide, in essence, is through our software and our services, we've enabled about 200,000 metric tons of aquaculture production over the last couple of years, resulting in a contribution of value to those firms of over $25 million. Next slide, please. And who are we, and why do we think we can achieve these audacious goals? Well, we're a small team with a combined almost 100 years of experience in the aquaculture industry. We're aquaculturists first, using software to help solve the problems of the industry. Next slide, please. In terms of who we're targeting, we have three main target markets: farms, feed manufacturers, and feed ingredient companies. Next slide. And in terms of where we're at today and specific milestones and asks, we're halfway through closing our seed round in this quarter. We're looking to incorporate external data sources and integrate them within our software platforms. So we're looking for data collectors or IoT device companies. And we're also using the funds to expand our development team. Next slide, please. If any of that interests you, or if you're interested in helping improve, help data work and improve for the aquaculture industry, we would love to chat with you. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you, Evan. So Ken would like to know more about your innovation, and I will let him ask you some questions.
Thanks, Sophie. So Evan, with the rapid advancement of the software, how would you plan to keep it up to date and keep it affordable for your users?
Sure. So we use a cloud-based model, software model currently, and we're constantly pushing out feature improvements, new features, new models, improvements to our algorithms, et cetera, literally on a weekly, if not bi-weekly basis. So the product is constantly evolving and constantly improving as time goes on, and as the needs of our clients and the needs of the industry change as well. And that will continue to occur in the future. In terms of affordability, we're always laser focused on making sure our insights or our tools are accessible to the industry. So right now we have a free option for our farm management software. In the future, there may be changes to specific functionality for smallholder farms over the long run, but our goal is to always maintain a very low cost, if not freely available tool for the industry.
Great, thanks. And could you explain your business model in more detail? You've mentioned feed mills and farmers both as customers. Could you explain your business model with them?
Sure. So there are basically two models we operate under. On the software side of things, and that we have clients that are farms, feed mills, and feed ingredient companies, is a software as a service model. So they pay either a monthly or annual subscription fee for access to the newest version of our software. That ranges from free, as I mentioned, for our farm management software, to about $1,000 a month for our enterprise feed solution. The second way we generate income currently is through a more traditional fee-for-service model. So a client may come to us with a particular data challenge or looking to get into a new market, for example, and we would bill those as a fee-for-service at a particular project scope, project start time, etc. And those range from kind of $5,000 to over $200,000 per project.
Yeah, interesting. All right, that's all I have. Sophie, back to you.
Well, thanks to both of you. So now I would like to thank the 8 Global Aquaculture Challenge finalists for presenting their innovation today. We are extremely proud of them. Their bright ideas, drive, and collaborative energy has made this journey extremely interactive, positive, and enjoyable for all of us. So innovation will not advance without a great team and a good attitude. And in the Global Aquaculture Challenge core team, we strongly believe that they all have everything that is needed to be successful, even if they should not win today. So while waiting for the winner's announcement, I would like to invite Larry Taylor, co-founder of the ULab Asia Pacific and board member of the ULab Institute, our nonprofit arm, to share a retrospective of the past few months of mentoring and programming. Larry was instrumental in the design and execution of this program. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Sophie, and thank you very much for the introduction and the job of putting all this together. The Global Aquaculture Challenge was over a year in the making. Many of you in the audience have been a part of that journey, and I'd like to take a minute to thank several groups of people who made it possible to bring so much attention to innovation in aquaculture. Firstly, I'd like to thank the innovators themselves. There were 180 innovator applications, about double what we experience in a challenge. Thank you for your courage in taking action to make a difference. We hope the process was helpful to you and that you achieve all the success that your great efforts deserve. Due to the overwhelming response to this challenge and to the stellar technologies that are out there to be commercialized, I'm pleased to announce that we will organize a second Global Aquaculture Challenge. Innovators and sponsors alike are invited to contact me, Larry, at theyieldlab.com. A virtual army of evaluators managed the process to select a mere 8 technologies from those 180. We're thankful to all of the 70 professionals who, during a rather intense phase, each reviewed many innovations in their areas of expertise and provided the technical and market knowledge that allowed the painful shortlisting to just 8 companies invited to attend this program. We wish to thank the strategic advisors. A global panel of a diverse array of experts has provided guidance and insights over the long haul of this project. The passionate practitioners from industry to academia, from research to commerce, these people invested many hours of personal time through all of the steps of design, evaluation, mentoring, training, and now judging. During the mentoring period of the program, there were 30 highly experienced thought leaders who contributed, I calculate, 135 hours of one-on-one guidance with these 8 CEOs and their teams. We thank you one and all. Also, during the program months, there were 60 hours of in-depth discussions led by yet another 30 experienced industry leaders. And we thank you for your time and particularly for your candid descriptions of where the bumps in the roads are. Along the way, you will no doubt have met the core team who managed all of the above activities, and I'd like to thank those members here. Matt Craze and Oriana Akian of Spheric Research, who produced, among other things, the spotlight articles on each company and each sponsor, all of which are available on the website. Thank you also to my teammates, Sophie, Claire, Michelle, Daria of the Yield Lab Asia Pacific, and to Brandon, the Yield Lab Institute. We all thank you. And finally, I would like to thank the sponsors who made the challenge a reality. The sponsors brought true global scope to the impact of the challenge. Specifically, we're grateful to Aquabridge of UAE, Salmon Sustentable of Chile, and Enterprise Singapore, as well as Startup SG, for their unique contributions. Thanks also are extended to the Global Seafood Alliance and the Rethink Animal Ag Summit for the gravitas that you bring to innovation and for extending the reach of this challenge across the aquaculture and ag tech communities. Thanks also goes to IBM and specifically IBM Research, who have provided access to highly valuable assets, both in human talent and digital tools. And this last thank you will also be an introduction. All of us here today appreciate the generosity of the U.S. Soybean Export Council for their leadership as the lead sponsor of the Global Aquaculture Challenge. Their contribution of funds, expertise, and commitment to the global advancement of aquaculture truly made this program possible. Here to speak about that commitment is Jim Sutter, CEO of USSEC.
Thanks, Larry, and it's my pleasure to be with all of you today. I'm Jim Sutter, CEO of USSEC, and we're an organization that represents U.S. soy farmers and the U.S. soy export supply chain. International markets are important to us. This year, our work will touch 82 different countries, and we're celebrating our 65th anniversary of having an office in Japan, in Tokyo. And I only point that out to give you a little bit of picture indication that this isn't something we've just started doing. This has been a long-term effort on behalf of U.S. soy farmers and the Foreign Agricultural Service and the industry. And we're strongly committed to innovation and continuous improvement. And we believe that challenges like this one give us an opportunity to help jumpstart and nurture innovation. And we are so pleased to be a part of it. And I've been watching this over the last year, and it was really interesting today. I'd heard something about these programs, but I thought the presentations given by all of the people who just spoke, they did a great job, and what wonderful ideas and energy behind them. You know, the world continues to change rapidly, and I'm sure we could have said that many times over the years, but it seems to me that the food industry is changing faster than ever. And really, that's what we're all involved with. You know, we have a growing population, increasing urbanization, and a consumer that is more conscious today about health and the climate. And that's all deriving the demand for global sustainable protein. And that puts aquaculture in a spotlight. A statistic that sticks in my mind and kind of helps me keep in mind how the world is changing is that we're adding 170,000 new people to the world each day. And we won't do that for just a short period of time. If we're going to get to 9.5 billion people on planet Earth by 2050, we're going to do that every day between now and then. That's a lot more people, and we need a lot more food to feed them. And aquaculture has immense potential to help meet the world's demand for nutrition and food security. Approximately 3.3 billion people globally rely on seafood for 20% of their daily average per capita intake of protein. And that makes it the largest traded food commodity globally. The amount of seafood or fish produced has exceeded the amount that is caught wild for the last few years, and certainly it doesn't look like that's going to change. According to the FAO, aquaculture consumption increased 122% between 1990 and 2018, and production is projected to reach 109 million tons by 2030. At the same time, demand for feed continues to grow as the aquaculture industry grows, and the global soy industries continue to grow also. We produce a million tons a day, over years, 360 million tons per year globally, up from 225 in 2000. And I'm confident this growth will continue so that soy will be available to be an important ingredient for this growing aquaculture industry that I foresee. U.S. soy farmers and the industry stand committed to help meet global nutrition and food security needs by delivering proven, high-quality, sustainable production practices and an export industry that is very, very reliable. In addition, the work that USSEC does around the world often involves education and the introduction of new technology and helping industries to advance faster than they may otherwise be able to do. We have a great team of highly skilled individuals that help deliver this educational work, and I hope that many of you who are on this in this meeting today know some of our aquaculture experts around the world. It is really my honor to work with all of those people. In addition, for just as an example, we're proud to have introduced a couple of innovations, many, but a couple that I want to speak about: the in-pond raceway system, IPRS, and the International Aquaculture Feed Formulation Database. These are things that we believe will really help aquaculture producers in many countries around the world. The IPRS maximizes aquaculture production while optimizing natural resources, protecting the environment, and reducing the carbon footprint of aquaculture. That technology is being developed and used in many places around the world. The IAFFD is developing nutritional data and feed formulation tools where they really didn't exist before. And as we heard from some of our presenters earlier, it's something that we think the market has a need for. So there will be lots of things related to that developed in the future. So both of those examples that I cited, I'm sure would have been prime candidates to be part of an innovation challenge 10 years ago. Today, they're widely used by the industry. And I'm sure that the same will be true of many of the entries that are in the challenge that we just heard about, and some that we probably didn't hear about. We're also proud to partner with the Global Seafood Alliance and their Best Aquaculture Practices certification by providing verified sustainable soy that allows the users of that program to then have BAP certified aquaculture products. Particularly in the field of aquaculture, sustainability is becoming a bigger and bigger interest, something that consumers are very interested in. I was very pleased to hear the presenters today talk about this. And I think it's something we're just going to have to continue to highlight as an industry as we meet the demand of our customers. So finally, we look forward to continuing to work with aquaculture industries around the world to help speed the adoption of innovation and promote sustainable production practices. As we like to say, if the customers of U.S. soy do well, we will do well. So finally, let me say again, we've been very pleased to be the lead sponsor of the Aquaculture Challenge organized by the Yield Lab. They have done a great job. We've watched this over the last year, and there's been a lot of details. And it really has been, I take my hat off to them. When we've been thrilled with the participation of the 180 participants, it was a hard job that the judges had to do to narrow it down to 8 and now down to 3. So we're proud to be a part of the lineup, the great lineup of sponsors and the experts that were involved. It's a shame we have to select only a few winners because I think really there are so many winners involved overall, and I wish them all the best. So we look forward to working together to successfully to feed a hungry and growing world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Jim, and the whole USSEC Aquaculture team for your invaluable involvement in this program. I think we're finally ready to proceed with the Global Aquaculture Challenge Award ceremony. So before announcing the winners, and on behalf of the challenge team, advisors, mentors, subject matter experts, speakers, the 70 global aquaculture experts engaged throughout this program, I would like to give a round of applause to our 8 finalists. All 8 teams gave the best of themselves during this intense program, proactively engaging and truly determined to make a difference, bringing sustainable aquaculture to reality. Innovation can only be enabled and scaled with expertise, teamwork, drive, and perseverance. Each one of you has shown all these characteristics and has been a complete joy to work with. So the Yield Lab Asia Pacific would like to award each one of the finalists with this artistic hand-blown glass trophy. In the alphabetical order, we present this award to FeedVax, Genufeed, Jala, Salmokine, Seawater Solutions, TeOra, Wittaya Aqua, and Xylome. Huge congratulations for making it this far. Each one of you has been a winner, growing your network of scientific and production partners, as well as potential investors. Now, let's find out the jury's choice for the different prizes. The Global Aquaculture Challenge 2021's jury is composed of our 23 strategic advisors and sponsors from world-class NGOs, VCs, corporates, universities. The companies have been evaluated on 10 different aspects of their science and market readiness, business plan, and UN SDGs impact. We will start with the Salmon Sustentability Prize for Transformation, $50,000 assessed value. Salmon Sustentability is a program supported by the Public Investment Agency Corfo, Chilean Economic Development Agency. This prize winner will benefit from a custom program including an introduction to leaders of the Chilean salmon ecosystem, prospective customers, available resources for R&D, industry, organizations, and basic advice on governmental and regulatory matters. The winner of the Salmon Sustentability Prize for Transformation is Salmokine. Congratulations, Christian and Jorn, for winning the Salmon Sustentability Prize for Transformation. Salmokine developed an innovative platform based on the production of proteins from the animal for the animal immune system, with first application in salmon. Their recombinant proteins are capable of modulating immunity and prompting the expression of antimicrobial peptides, providing protection against several pathogens without causing an exacerbated inflammatory reaction. This technology can be applied to complement vaccines or as feed supplement, reducing the use of antibiotics. Would you like to say something, Jorn?
Yes, thank you. Thanks very much for the prize. I am a little bit speechless. It has been an incredible journey, and we are very thankful for the opportunity that was given to us to be part of the eight finalists of the cohort of the Global Aquaculture Challenge, mainly because we are the youngest company of the cohort. We are in diapers, as you say here in Chile, en pañales. It was a very insightful experience where we met very talented and experienced people that guided us and give us very helpful tips to improve and manage some things that we needed to clear out. We want to thank all the team and people, sponsors involved in the Yield Lab, Aqua Pacific, and the Global Aquaculture Challenge, especially mentioning Leonard and Sophie that were always available to answer any questions and give us good advices, inspiration, and insightful contributions to our development. And to all the incredible people that we met, the other companies that participated in the challenge, and we hope we stay in touch with them, we generate collaborations or networking. And it's very gratifying to know that different scientists and entrepreneurs are working hard to improve aquaculture, health, and sustainability worldwide. So thank you very much, and we will make the best with this prize and move forward much faster. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you really deserve it, and we hope to hear from you soon. So now moving on to AquaBridge Middle East North Africa Region Prize for Innovation of $50,000 assessed value. AquaBridge Group is a company directly held by UAE Sheikh Ahmed bin Mana Al Maktoum, set up to ensure that the development of the region's aquaculture industry passes through a quality filter based on the public-private partnership model. This prize winner will join a customized incubator program, which would give them personalized mentorship, an introduction to the MENA aquaculture ecosystem, basic advice on governmental and regulatory matters, opportunity to pitch to selected prospective investors, advice on funding approaches adopted in the MENA region, advice on risk mitigation strategies for the business, basics of marketing in the MENA region, and office working space, if needed, for the full duration of the custom program. And the winner of the Aqua Bridge MENA Region Prize for Innovation is Jala. Congratulations, Liris, for winning the Aqua Bridge MENA Region Prize for Innovation. Jala developed an innovative integration of their shrimp data platforms to include farm management predictive analytics and actionable insights, field assistance, credit, insurance, and a trading platform, all allowing improved farm economics and end-to-end traceability for producer communities and buyers. Would you like to say a word, Liris?
Hello, Sophie. Thank you. Thank you so much for the award. And thank you so much for the Aqua Bridge MENA Prize. And I'm really looking forward for the collaborations ahead. And thank you so much as well that I say to all of the colleagues in Jala.
Thank you, Liris. You really deserved it too. And now on to the ULab Global Aquaculture Challenge 2021 Grand Prize. This Grand Prize winner will receive, the Grand Prize winner will receive $120,000 in cash. In addition, IBM will provide the Grand Prize winner with bespoke consulting and services from IBM Research Aquaculture, and IBM Environmental Services. The Grand Prize winner will also pitch at the Technology Showcase pitching session at the Animal AgTech Innovation Summit on 19th and 20th of October, and will be fast-tracked to the top 100 finalists of Slingshot 2021 on the 12th of November. All right, everyone, the moment we have all been waiting for. The winner will also receive from the ULab Asia Pacific this beautiful handcrafted trophy. And so the Grand Prize winner is Wittaya Aqua. A huge congratulations to Aqua for winning the ULab Asia Pacific Global Aquaculture Challenge 2021 Grand Prize. So
oh my goodness.
Aqua is developing innovative software platforms based on advanced modeling that will enable seamless collaboration throughout the global aquaculture supply chain. Once integrated, these tools will be able to predict farm and feed productivity, efficiency, and economics, as well as key sustainability metrics such as waste output, carbon footprint, and FIFO ratios. The platforms will also be able to benchmark ingredients, feed, and animal performance, enabling continuous improvement to aquaculture operations, providing insights to multiple stakeholders, species, and geographies. Would you like to say something, Evan? You have to say something.
Yeah, just let me collect my thoughts a bit here. I'm going to try and not to choke back some tears. So, I mean, this comes as a bit of a surprise, but I just want to say a few words that the work that we've been doing. This comes on the back of a lot of hard work from our team. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank the folks at Wittaya Aqua who make my job a lot easier by bringing their experience and expertise into building products and services that people around the world increasingly are starting to love. So in no order of importance, I'd also like to thank IBM and our advisor Fergal. IBM's been a great partner for us through this particular Global Aquaculture Challenge. Dr. George Chamberlain and the GSA and TCRS, who've been very thoughtful and insightful with advice. Lisa Van Wanigan and the folks at IDH as well. Aaron McNevin at the WWF. The Yield Lab team, obviously Larry, Claire, Sophie for putting this together. I mean, this was a fantastic program with the caliber of mentors and advisors that were put together here were absolutely amazing. And we learned a ton. And then lastly, and definitely last but not least, for USSEC for a couple reasons. One, for their thought leadership and role as a lead sponsor with this, and always trying to improve the agri-food space in general, but specific to their work in aquaculture. And also thanks to them for their continued support with Wittaya Aqua. They were one of the first companies that organizations that we worked with back when we were, as Jorn said, in diapers. And so thank you for your support. And maybe last but not least, I'll put a plug in for thanks to my family for putting up with lots of long hours and the roller coaster ride that is being a startup co-founder. So thanks to all, and my apologies if I missed anyone. I'm a bit taken by surprise by this, so thanks.
Thank you, Evan. You deserved it. And thank you to all the other finalists. You've done a great job, and we're super, super proud of you. So we have now reached the end of the Yield Lab Asia Pacific Global Aquaculture Challenge 2021 Grand Finale. Thank you all for attending today. For replay, please find us on LinkedIn, the Yield Lab-Asia, or visit globalaquachallenge.com. or the yieldlab.asia, or the yieldlabinstitute.org to learn more about our Spotlight Series articles and listen to the replay of our aquaculture webinar. For introduction to the cohort, write to me at sophie@theyieldlab.com. That's all for today. On behalf of the Global Aquaculture Challenge team, I wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, or evening. See you next time.